Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a pale oak house, step by step, block by block, in Minecraft, for all of your city building needs. Fun fact, I am hiding somewhere in the intro of this video. If you spot me, leave a comment, and the first person to find me will have their comment pinned. This is the amount of space required to make the build. To find the starting position, begin at the front left hand corner of the grid. Count backwards, find the 5th block, and then count to the right and find the 3rd block. That is where we start. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Begin the build by placing 4 stripped oak wood on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then extend to the right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then forwards by 1. And then up by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the right by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then extend back by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then extend across the back of the build, join all the way back to the front of the build, like this, then extend these corner blocks down to the ground. So this one right here, this one here, and this one too. Then we want to move along to the left side of the build and extend this block backwards, and the goal is to connect inwards to the inside of this corner row, the same as it does on the front of the build. We can then extend this corner block down to the ground, and that gives us the basic frame for the house. Next, let's work on the details. Step 1. The front door. Destroy this grass block here, replace it with an oak plank, and then place a mangrove door on top of it. Place a red terracotta above this, and then place stripped pale oak wood to the right. Mangrove button here, mangrove sign here. Next, let's add some windows. Place a stripped pale oak wood right of the block with the button on it, then a glass pane right of that, and then another wood. Fill underneath this in with the wood. Extend the glass block up one. Then place stripped pale oak wood either side. We then want to place 2 entire rows, 1, 2, of stripped pale oak wood directly above all of this. Then on the left side here, we will place a layer of glass pane, and then 2 rows of wood to the right, and then another row of glass pane, and then finally we will just fill that gap in with the wood. We can then add mangrove shelves left and right of the windows, only on the right side here. Next, let's move around to the right side of the build, where first of all, we will place a pale oak wood here in this bottom right corner with a glass pane on top. We then want to come up to the top left corner, place a stripped pale oak wood here, glass pane to the right, one underneath, and that's it for windows on this side of the build. We can actually just completely fill this entire area in with the pale oak wood. The only thing that I would like to do before we move on is add a flip down spruce trapdoor here. Next, let's move around to the back of the build, where first of all we will add the back door. It's just opposite the front, so we will remove this block, place an oak plank, mangrove door on top. Place some stripped pale oak extending left of the door, stick one here in this corner as well, glass pane here, and then just extend right with the wood. Place mangrove shelves either side of the window, and then we are going to place 2 entire rows of the pale wood, but this is where things are a little bit tricky actually. So there's a door right here leading onto what is basically a balcony slash kind of like roof garden. So realistically, this block here actually has to be an oak plank with a mangrove door on top, and we can then place a layer of stripped pale oak wood extending left, and then stick another one here, and then we will have just a single window here as well, and then we can just fill the rest of this area in with the pale oak. I know it looks a little bit weird, but it'll look better later. For the left side of the build, we have quite a lot going on, but the first thing we can do is actually just fill this entire wall in using the pale oak. So just from the floor all the way up to the top of the frame, like this. That makes it a little bit easier to tackle this part of the build, which is a small garage. So to begin, we will place a stripped pale oak here with 2 glass pane to the right, and then we'll fill this entire back wall in. We'll place 2 flip down spruce trapdoors underneath this window. And then on this side here, we want a door. So we're going to remove this block, place an andesite. And you know what? It might even just be easiest to remove all the way along the inside of the garage here. So just kind of within these 4 walls. And just place andesite. And then stick a spruce door. And then fill this side of the garage in. And then stick just a mangrove button off to the side. And then, for the front, you can go 2 ways. You can either just fill the front of the garage in, like this, with just some andesite stairs, or, alternatively, now this is a little bit trickier, but you can have a garage door that is open, which means that we must orientate a set of stairs like this. So they're placed this way, they're upside down of course, and if you can just imagine that this has just been like flipped up from the floor, then this is the way that the stairs would be, and then you can just look directly into the garage, which I prefer. Next, let's make the garage roof. So we will place a brick slab here, extend out 1 block, do the same on the back, then just extend these slabs inwards and upwards until they eventually meet in the middle, and then have them peak. That's all you got to do. So we'll stick a pale oak here, and then we will simply just have the blocks extend and connect to the actual house. Typically, I like to use a mixture of the slabs and solid block variant because it makes it a little bit easier. And now that we've done that, I'm actually going to quickly grab the bricks because now that we have made the garage roof, we must do the exact same thing for the actual main part of the house. So it starts the same way. Brick slab here, extend forwards, brick slab here, extend forwards, and then it's just inwards and upwards until these sets of slabs just finally connect together. And then we'll have some stripped pale oak wood here to cover that up. We can preemptively add the same thing to the back. I always like to extend the sides of the roof to the back of the build and make the outside of the roof like this. Then we can just extend it all the way to the front. And then we can add the bricks, so this is what I'm talking about. So every other block is a solid brick rather than just the slabs, and then it makes it so much easier just to place the rest. I was struggling with the garage and there was absolutely no need to. Don't make my mistake. Next, let's add some more details, starting with the front. Begin by placing a row of 3 azalea leaves underneath this window, with 2 brown carpet to the left, and then a decorated pot left of that. Place a firefly bush right here. Then grab your brick wall and place 1, 2, 3 wall here in front of the pot, and the same here, 1, 2, 3. Place a row of bricks that extends and connects these walls together. We will then place brick slabs extending from in front of the bricks, and then we will also place brick slabs behind and above these. So it's the same idea as with the rest of the roof, it just looks quite nice. Next, let's move around to the back of the build, where we will start off by placing 1, 2, 3 rows of andesite extending out of the back portion of the house. So just remove the grass, place the andesite, just like so. Stick a furnace here in the corner, spruce stair here, flip up 2 jungle trapdoors to form a table and connect them together, brown carpet on top, then a spruce stair here, then place a row of regular bushes just along the back of the garage. We also want to place 1, 2, 3 brick wall here, and 1, 2, 3 brick wall here in these positions. Next, move all the way to here, the front right hand corner of the house, and place an oak stair in this position, and then 3 more extending up and back. 1, 2, 3. Then place an upside down stair at the top, followed by a set of oak slabs extending to the brick wall here, join down, and then extend across, join down, and then just join all the way to the house. We can then fill the middle of this in with oak planks, just like so. Add some upside down stairs underneath these stairs here. We can place some azalea leaves like this. So you can either leave this stair or you can replace it with a leaf. It doesn't really matter which one you choose as long as you like it. Let's add some oak trapdoors next to these stairs. And not only that, we kind of just want them to border the entire balcony slash roof garden area. I don't really know what to call this thing. It's kind of just a balcony really, but it kind of roof garden sounds cooler. But regardless, this is what we want to have so far. We can also stick a lantern hanging down above this table, just above the patio. Next, move up to the balcony. I guess we'll just call it a balcony, and place 1, 2, 3 spruce fence here in this corner, and 1, 2, 3 here. They line up with the sides of the house. And the idea is that we want to have this. We kind of want to create a cover using campfires that extends. We just have to chunk out these slabs, by the way. We want to create kind of like an overhang or a canopy or a pergola might be the right word, but regardless, we want a cover above our balcony, and we want the campfires orientated in the way that I've placed them. And I wonder if this is extremely loud for you guys as well. It certainly is for me. But once you've placed all of these, we just want to extinguish the flames. And there we go. This is the way that I like to place them, but you can place them in the opposite way as well. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Next, we just want to decorate the balcony a little bit. So we are going to place a table here next to the door. So this is a spruce trapdoor flipped up. Extend left 2, and then flip up another spruce trapdoor. We can decorate this with pots, and we can have a decorated pot here and here. I want to have regular pots hanging down here, and then we want to have a grass block here. Actually, 2 grass blocks. So 2 grass blocks, 1, 2, and then leave a gap of 2, and then just a single grass block here. And then we have enough room to place spruce trap doors around this. So maybe I should have placed these first because this is now incredibly hard to do, but that's okay. Maybe it's easier from the outside, actually. There we go, that's perfect. So not only that, we do also want to attach some vines to the house wherever they might fit, because it kind of just fits the vibe. And I really like some glowberry as well to get, there we go, just to kind of like fit the vibe. So now we just have to fill in all of this stuff. I'm going to place ferns in these hanging pots here. I really like saplings as kind of like a garden sort of plant, so that's exactly what I'm placing. Whoops. But just a bunch of saplings I just really like. I like the green. I think that looks really cool. I've just adjusted the glowberry a little bit so that it's not quite as bunched up, and I think that this looks pretty good, but of course do feel free to just prune your own as you see fit. We can also fill the pots in with, you know, a pot and then a plant in said pot if you want, but I like the decorated pots as they are personally. Next, we are going to add some stepping stones from the garage to the patio. So leave a gap of 1 here, and then every other block, just place a smooth stone leading to this door, just like so. We also want to remove this back row of the grid, replace it with Ponton, and then stick some large ferns here. Then we have to add a layer of fence. So the fence is made using spruce trapdoors, and it just extends around the house. So around the grid, and when I say around the house, that sounds like a silly thing to say, but what I mean is from here all the way around and then just connected back again. And we just want to place 2 rows of spruce trapdoors on top of each other. I find it easiest to lay the first row flat and then stick another row on top whilst they are flipped down. That sounded wrong in my head, but I think that's right. You guys get the point. And then we can just go around and we can flip all of these up. Yeah, see? Okay. This is oddly satisfying. Next, let's add a stone path from here leading to our stairs. And then we have a task of just kind of like removing some blocks and replacing them with either lime terracotta, green terracotta, or moss, or any kind of other like greeny sort of blocks that you might want. And you don't even have to do this if you don't want to. And you may find that less is more with this sort of stuff. So like maybe just the occasional block just kind of placed, you know, every so often. Like maybe not even too many of them. But it's up to you. I really like the moss. I think that the moss just looks really, really nice and almost fades into the grass perfectly, to be honest. So for the back garden, for example, we can just go for like a really sparing amount, if you like. Or you can kind of bump it up a little bit with a bit more moss. If you were going to go mental with one of the blocks, and I think that it looks a little bit unbalanced because we have the white concrete, so let me get rid of it. There we go, that's better. The white concrete was throwing me off. It was like so stark in comparison to everything else. But yeah, something like this I think looks pretty good. And you can add as much or as little of this as you like. I think that that's a pretty decent amount for myself. In the garage, we just want to add a simple workbench by placing a crafting table here, oak shelf here, jungle trapdoor here, flip one up next to it, brown carpet here, and an item frame here. Next, let's add a car to the garage. Begin by placing 2 of your favourite coloured wool underneath these 2 stair blocks here. Extend them down to the ground. Extend the bottom row forwards by 2. 1, 2. Place glass here with matching carpet on top of the glass. Extend the wool backwards a row as well. And then place stone buttons on the 4 corners of the car. And finally, a couple of item frames right at the front, and there we have a car. Next, we are going to add some texture to the walls. To do this, we will use a mixture of polished diorite, calcite, and diorite to help bring the build to life a little bit. And we also have the strip pale oak wood for when we inevitably make some mistakes. Now, this process is a little bit random, but we're going to place some polished diorite towards the base of the building, most of the way around. That's where we will keep the polished diorite as kind of a general rule. So this includes the garage as well. We'll just replace some of the blocks, maybe next to the back door as well, and maybe just underneath this window here. The goal is to not place too much of it. It's better to have a sparing amount than far too much. So now that we've placed a bit of polished diorite, we can move a little bit further up the build and we can add some calcite. So again, kind of as a general sort of rule, the calcite is a bit more on the midway point of the build. So not quite at the base, just a little bit higher. And I'm willing to use a little bit more of this than the polished diorite. The reason being is because it's not quite a stark contrast as the polished diorite blocks, so it doesn't make as big of an impact. I think that that's a good amount right there. And now it's time for the diorite. This makes the biggest impact. If you place one of these, you will definitely notice it. We are using the least amount of this possible. Probably only about one or so on each one of these sides of the build, and we are restricting it towards the very top. I think that this has a really nice impact. I think that this looks pretty good. Once you're happy, we can now finally head inside the build and begin work on the interior. Or what little interior there will be. It's a small house. Step 1, we are just going to remove this grass and replace it with oak planks. We also want to add in a staircase, so we will place a spruce stair here, 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 and here, extending up the right side of the build. We can then place a furnace here, block of iron here, stripped spruce wood here, and here, cauldron here. We can then stick a spruce shelf on the end, tripwire hook here. We also want to place a flipped up spruce trapdoor here, and here, and here. We can stick a chair here, and a tripwire hook here, right next to the door. This is looking pretty good. We should also add in the second floor as well. So the second floor is right in line with where the stairs end, but more so like where we have the door leading out onto our, right in the face with some berries, right onto our roof garden. So we can just drop down back in here. Now downstairs we want to add a brewing stand here in the corner, rail here, a couple of stone buttons here. Then on this wall we will place some paintings, just some 1x1s mainly, so one of these and one of these will do just fine. A lantern right in the middle of the ceiling, basically. And also this looks pretty good, but you may also want to just remove the middle of the floor a bit. Remove is a strong word. Replace with a mixture of stripped spruce and stripped oak. So it kind of just makes things stick out a little bit. And then you can stick whatever you want on the table. Like I think a pot is a nice go-to, and it just fits the colour palette nicely. This is downstairs complete, super simple, and it gets even simpler upstairs because there's even less room. So up here we will add a set of spruce fence just along the side here as a banister. We will then place a brown bed here with brown carpet to the right, cauldron here, spruce trapdoor here, strip spruce wood here, item frame here, tripwire hook here, flower pot on the ground here, then chest here, spruce shelf here. We will have a light in the ceiling, although it might be a little bit nicer to add some slabs, just like this, just to shape the roof a little bit better. Chain, lantern, surround said lantern with signs, either spruce or mangrove, but I like the spruce better personally. And we also want to add a painting on this wall. I personally want not that guy. That guy is perfect. And you can also fill in the shelves with something if you'd like. I think that something like this would be just fine. So super simple room. And with that final detail added, we have officially completed this tutorial. However, this video is not over. We must now add our pale oak house into our city. I have a massive predicament. I do not know where to put this. On one hand, the house is kind of suburban-y feeling, so maybe it should just have its very own suburbs over here somewhere. But on the other hand, the house has a bit more of a naturalistic sort of vibe, so maybe it should go somewhere where there's more trees and plant life and it's a bit more foresty. But we don't exactly have anywhere that fits that bill at the moment. I really am stuck. You know what? For now, I'm just going to place it against this forest here, and the only reason is because I don't know precisely where to put it, but I do know that I want it to be in this general sort of location. Better yet, If you have a better idea than me, please leave a comment down below. If you've made it this far, where should I put the house? I would love your opinion. You may be interested in becoming a channel member. You can click the join button that will be somewhere on the screen right now. This does cost money and is a monthly subscription, but you do get some perks. The first of which is a download link for my city design world. This has every single build that I have placed in my city, arranged in order, and labelled. This perk also comes with schematics for the mods Litematica and World Edit, so you can easily reference and copy and paste these builds into your worlds in any way that you'd like. However, if you're not interested in any of that building business, the highest tier allows you to download the most current version of Minicity. There are also some minor perks, including loyalty badges displayed next to your name whenever you comment something down below on my videos. Depending on how long you have been a channel member, you gain a more prestigious helmet, with the highly coveted gold builder's hat being the most valuable. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.